I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today, we're reading Luke chapter 22, and we're going to focus on a conversation between Jesus and Peter in verses 33 and 34. Lord, he told him, I'm ready to go with you both to prison and to death. I tell you, Peter, Jesus said, the rooster will not crow today until you deny 3 times that you know me. Now, there are 3 major festivals in the Jewish calendar, collectively known as the Shalosh Regalim. Shalosh in Hebrew means 3, and Regalim means feet. Therefore, the Shalosh Regalim translates the 3 on foot. And these are the 3 festivals where Jewish people were required to make pilgrimages to Jerusalem and to the Temple Mount on foot. Now, the common Jewish reference for Shalosh Regalim is the 3 times. And so it has been argued that perhaps when Jesus says, you will deny me 3 times, that it was more than just the count of how many times that Peter would deny him. So let's look at the significance of these festivals, because I think it's essential to understanding. Because when Jesus told him, you'll deny me 3 times, well, he was possibly referring to Israel's rejection of the essence of the Shalosh Regalim. So what are the 3 festivals, and what do they communicate to the Hebrew mindset? Well, first is Pesach, which is Passover, and it is the exodus from Egypt and slavery. The second is Shavuot, which means weeks, the festival of weeks, and it commemorates the giving of the law to the people of Israel after the Passover. It's also known as Pentecost because in Greek it translates as 50 days. 50 days after the Passover. So you have Pesach, Shavuot, or Pentecost, and then the third is Sukkot, which is the festival of booths. It is the 40 years when the Israelites wandered in the Sinai desert, and then they lived in temporary shelters. Now, each of these events marks a time of harvest in Israel, and each symbolically expresses fundamental religious and ethical ideas and values in Judaism, and of course those continue on with the church. Now, Pesach, it is God's miraculous deliverance of the Hebrews from Egyptian slavery, and it proves His power to deliver and to keep His word. And similarly, believers are delivered from the bondage of this world, and we await His promise even today of an ultimate deliverance on the last day. Then you have Shavuot, or Pentecost. Well, most of us know Acts chapter 2, when the Holy Spirit was given to the young church. Well, Shavuot for the Jewish community leading up to Acts chapter 2 is the giving of the law, or God's revelation. Okay? On Shavuot, 50 days after the Passover, is when the Lord spoke His law directly into the hearts of the people of Israel. And they were so terrified that they said to Moses, we don't want him to talk to us like that anymore, directly to us. You go talk to him, and then you come back and share with us what God said to you. Okay? And then, of course, Sukkot, right? The festival of booths. And it commemorates 40 years survival in the desert. And even though they were in the desert and they were without a homeland, they had left Egypt where they were slaves, they had yet to enter into the promised land, and yet the Lord divinely guided them, and He had an abiding presence among them. And so in the same way, God guides believers in Jesus as we trust in Him. He sticks around. And then we don't lean on our own understanding, but we acknowledge Him in all of our ways when we allow ourselves to read the word of the Lord and be taught by the Holy Spirit. He guides us. He provides for us, even in the desert periods of life. So in essence, let's go back to Jesus speaking to Peter. In essence, Jesus' message to Peter, perhaps, is also a message to Israel as a nation, which is this: you say that you will follow me anywhere, but in actuality, you deny me by denying the spiritual intent of the 3 times. You will deny my power to deliver, you will deny my revelation, and you will deny my divine presence and guidance, all before this new beginning. This is exactly what Jesus is saying, I believe, to Peter. You see, the new beginning, the rooster is a Hebrew symbol of new beginnings, as it is on pretty much every farm that you'll ever go to. The rooster crows, and he crows the beginning of a new day. And so therefore, Peter literally denies all 3 times, he denies the intent of the Lord, his power to deliver, his abiding presence, his revelation of the Word. And then the new beginning happened. Now, to embark on a new beginning, to be saved, we must, number 1, recognize God's power and His desire to deliver us. We see that through Jesus on the cross. Number 2, we have to admit that we fall short of His standard, which is revealed by the Bible. And it's made clear to us by the Holy Spirit telling us that this is the truth. And then number 3, we have to trust Jesus' atonement and His promise to abide with us forever in this life and then for all eternity in the kingdom to come, resurrecting and gathering His own to Himself. Have you done those 3, or have you rejected the truth of the gospel? I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Check us out at groundworksministries.com.